Alright, and welcome back to the dumpster fire that is my podcast. We're here to break the stigma against moms who smoke. We are in a very different, not very different location, but kind of different. It doesn't look all that different because of the tie-dye. But I'm joined by Lisa from Explicit Wixx again.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
It was kind of an impromptu recording session. I definitely messaged her 4 or 5 hours ago, but yeah, I'm super excited. So we're going to talk about her business today, but we're actually going to open up the podcast with a giveaway on the, Canadian Canna Fairy page.
Yeah, so it's called Canna Fairies Canada.
So if you guys want to check it out and you're in Canada and want to take part in all the Canna Fairy business, I actually really like it because they have an Amazon gift page. They have the local gifting. They have something else on
People are sending it via mail. It's crazy.
And pen pals, that was the other thing, yeah. So it's really cool and I'm really excited. So we're going to start with that. So do you want to...
Alrighty, yeah. So we're here with Explicit Wixx and Moms Who Smokes podcast. We're going to choose 4 winners today to win candles from Explicit Wixx. This is going for the Canna Fairies Canada group.
Alright, I'm just going to click. So the first winner is Sarah Odell Barlow.
Yay, congrats. Alright, so second winner is...
Let's see.
Which, by the way, this is quite a big entry list here.
It is. This is massive.
Yeah, this is definitely the biggest I've ever had.
It took us 15 minutes. So the second winner is Caitlin Taylor. Sorry, did you want to say that?
Awesome. No, totally.
Okay.
Oh, that was close.
So Cheyenne Ashley Kishon. That's funny because that's the one that it nearly missed last time, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
So
awesome.
Kelly Leach, I believe. So, yeah, those are our winners. Welcome to
All
us
right.
being awkward on the other camera.
We're recording multiple things here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really excited. For the first time ever, I have no episode script. This is going to go really well, as you can tell. This is really impromptu, and I'm going to be honest, I dove into the Jeffrey Epstein documentary series right before she was coming over and didn't plan anything, so that was on me. But yeah, I'm going to interview Lisa about her company and how she got started, and yeah, then, I don't know, maybe we'll spiel off into other things, who knows. So, yeah, your company's called Explicit Wixx. So, okay, my first question is, why explicit?
So that's always the end question here to everyone, I guess. I don't know, ever since I was young, I just always had a morbid, personality, I guess, what I was into, my fascinations, I guess, and of course, foul language. And I don't know, I think I just I just like the humor behind them. Mm-hmm. And it honestly did take me a long time to release the company because, I was scared of the backlash I was going to get from it, but I've actually had a lot of really good feedback, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I was really excited when I saw them. I'm gonna be honest, and when you messaged me or I messaged you, one of the two, because they were explicit. You don't see that in everything. And I would love to have a big sign that says "fuck" above my window somewhere.
Exactly. So that's why I ran with it too. So the candles themselves are made all natural ingredients. Yeah. My lip balm's all natural ingredients. Honestly, it's really great product. It's really great. The scent is incredible. Okay. And it's funny because people actually order candles and they'll just tell me their scent, and I'm like, well, what label do you want? They're surprise me, So the scents are there, they're really great candles, but to me the labeling is just what sets it apart. Absolutely. From obviously the million other candle companies there are.
Absolutely. And I'm really picky about candle scents, and I'm not one to get too random candles and just like them. And I really love both of the ones that you brought over. I haven't started. I didn't start burning that one yet, but just the smell. I feel the smell of the one candle was very similar to when it was burning. So judging off that, I really like it. And also, I'm really excited to try these. There will be a giveaway coming up with some of these products. So stay tuned. So they're made with coconut oil.
So these are made with, so I use 100% soy, shea butter, raw organic coconut oil, and essential oils, just for a bit of scent and flavor in there.
So is it hard to make a lip balm? What goes into making
So it's actually pretty simple. It is really simple, but because I am using soy, it's a bit more of a softer, compared to and I don't use any chemicals, so I don't use the hardening ingredients that a lot of lip shops do.
Yeah.
So you are trying to work quick and stuff, and they do melt a little fairly easier than the other ones.
Yeah.
But
but they're obviously organic.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely all natural for sure.
I have like a few questions, but I don't know what order I don't ask them in. So, when you were starting to make the candles, like when it came to picking the jars and like the wicks and that, was there anything that went into that, or like, is that kind of stuff hard to get? Like,
so like I said, like I started the company actually like almost a year before I even launched it.
Okay.
Like I took my time to research, you know, like what I needed, what ingredients to use. Honestly, the jars too. So like I, you know, just got samples from a bunch of different companies, you know, price checked, and they're actually pretty expensive to create all natural, like small batch products, right?
But that's.
Yeah, definitely.
I really like about the fine details sometimes, or when it comes to like products like candles and things that I use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it took you a year, you said, to launch it.
Mm-hmm.
So what were you doing? Like, what was your kind of like, I guess like schedule throughout the year? Like, what were you doing time wise? Like.
Yeah, so I do work full time also, so I have that job, and then I did have another company before for 5 years, which was my vinyl business, which is kind of like where it first initiated come from. I wanted to create like, you know, funny labels on a candle.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to like, I sat down, I was like, no, like I want to do this right. I want to make the candles myself. I want to hand pour them. And that's honestly how it came to be. Like I literally learned from scratch, like how to properly make a candle.
So that just sparked an interest.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that so much. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And fun fact, soy is biodegradable.
That was.
And sustainable, so.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, the jars are just. Okay. So, your vinyl business before, was that kind of when it comes to making the labels and that, was that an easy transition for you? Like, taking out the actual candle making itself, just the labels?
So labeling is like 100% easier now.
Yeah.
So vinyl is really hard to work with, like as you know.
Yeah.
It's very tedious and you can fuck up really easily.
Oh, yeah.
My language there. So these, like what the creative aspect behind it is what I love about my labels.
Yeah.
I like bold. I like explicit, obviously.
Yeah.
And like a lot of candles, you know, you'll get a candle and it's like a white label and it's like flowers and doves, and no, like I wanted bold labels, you know, explicit language, and yeah.
That's awesome. So, trying to. Do you design each of the? Well, obviously you're doing it all yourself.
Yeah, I do it all
labels
myself for
yourself,
sure.
yeah.
Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. My best friend, she has helped me. She understands like I do work full time and I don't have time to, you know, sometimes like do what I need to. So she designed this one here. So she kind of just stepped up and like I just gave her my account info and she's just like, can I just play around with labeling? And yeah, so she's been helping me out as well, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely bounce a lot of things off of my two best friends. They get messages constantly.
But that's like one of my favorite things is like creating the labels.
And other people give you really good perspective, because I know that like, especially when it comes to making even these jars and stuff, like I had a lot of people ask like, how do you think of that? And I'm like, well, it's the exact same as our logo. Like if you look at Mom's Who Snow and Mom Mustache Jar, like it's very similar.
Yeah, it's playing off for sure.
And I went with that, but I was also designing a few other things, and I did a plant-based one in that. But when I got feedback, like the feedback was completely different from anything I would have thought of, but it was great. Like it was, I don't know, I feel like I had almost hit like a creative stunt, and stint, sorry. And they like gave me like 50 other ideas to go with and add to it, and it's about getting, you know, the group's opinion and like the general consensus of everybody as well.
Exactly. I have a girl also in M brand, and she honestly like she just does it to help me out too. So she's really good at photography. She has a big following. She's big on Instagram. So she like just honestly shares all my stuff, takes photos, tags me, like. So she's been a huge help too, honestly. And it does take more than just one person, for especially a small startup company to get off the feet, you know.
And that's what I keep saying. Like if you can't do anything for a company, and it's the same with the Black Lives Matter movement, with Pride, with anything. If you can't donate, share. If you can't buy, share. Like
or just comment. Engagement is huge.
100%. And the more that you like, comment, share on that post, the more that it's going to do for that company. Like you said, with going onto the Canna Ferry Canada page was just, I don't know, the amount of people on that page is phenomenal.
Yeah, so like that was huge for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she realizes like how big that was for me, but definitely, you know. So it helped me. It did, and it's nice that, you know, Canada came together and This whole Cannaferry thing to begin with, or just cannabis in 2020, has changed a lot. So
It's fantastic, and I think that maybe a lot of people started smoking weed because they were stuck at home with their families 24/7, and now they get it. I don't know, but it's interesting to see, even since I started the podcast, and thankfully I had Carolyn at the start, because I'm not one that's always had a big following on social media. I've always had opposing views from everybody and kept my list small for a reason, because I don't like drama. But when it came to it, like, she shared a lot, and then it just kind of took off. Like, a couple people saw it, and those couple people are still dedicated to message me almost every episode, and I'm like, you guys are the best. I love you so much here, and like, thank you for interacting when you do. But it's like, one share goes such a long way. I know I have one woman, I hope that she does, I won't use her name, don't worry, but she's from Indianapolis, I believe. And I'm like, how did you find my podcast? Like, I'm in a small town in Ontario. How did you... Yeah. That's amazing. That is such a massive reach, and the stories are so similar. Like, and so many people have just reached out to me and said, hey, like, this is my story. And I think I've learned a lot from other people's stories and from their advice and, like, just their input and comments and, like, positive feedback or negative feedback. Like, it's great. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, when I seen your post on Facebook, I was like, no. There's some local person near me making a podcast right now. Like, these are like bucket list dreams, you know? So it's definitely been fun to meet you. And like the marijuana aspect behind it too, you know, it's incredible. Like, just to see the community come together just because we're a bunch of stoners, you know?
Absolutely. And like, it gives everybody something to relate on. We were talking about that, I think, after the last time we recorded. It's just like one common thing that we can
You can be
share.
from any walk of life, and like, you just sit and smoke and talk.
Sure, yeah. And I think stoners are a different kind of people, and we're a lot more accepting and maybe more willing to see other people's sides, because I don't know, we're more laid back. Sorry. But it's a and the community that it's built, especially around here. Like, I think that this was. I mean, I haven't lived here my whole life, and I should not be speaking for the town, because that probably be the my own person that lives here. But I've lived here for a couple years now, and there was nothing out anywhere about pot. Like, there was one information thing about 20 minutes away. Now that's a dispensary out in Castleman. I'll look that out. But they went from just being, like, educating people on cannabis to supplying cannabis. And there's so many more people, like, talking about it. And I saw your candles, and I was like, there's no way. Well,
that's why, like, too, it took so long. So, like, I was like, once I launch this, like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's obviously going to know I'm 420 friendly. You know, what kind of backlash is that going to get, or the language. And, like, but when I post or whatever, I'll, like, say, you know, like, not for the easily offended. Because, you know, it could offend the next Karen in your life, you know? So, like,
that's what I said last
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was talking about that on the episode that I posted on Friday, actually, why I started it, and, like, my family's constantly asking why I put my opinion on the internet and why I choose to talk about these things, and oh my god, like, you're putting a video of you smoking out of a bong on the internet? Yeah, it's a bong. It's weed.
But it's okay, like, if, you know, like, frat boys doing shots after shots on girls' bodies.
They can all post a picture, like, saluting their one. I'm saluting my bong. Sorry, like, it's going to offend somebody, and I have found a community that it doesn't offend, and I think that that's important. And it teaches you, well, not that it teaches you, but, like, reminds you that you should find the community of people that support your beliefs and your choices, and you don't have to have similar lives. Like, I feel like our lives are pretty different, other than being a mom, obviously. But you can still bond over certain things, and, like, it's...
That's like with the Cannaferry group again. I was just like, they'll get me. They'll get my humor. They'll get my labels, 100%. Right? So. And
I had no fear of posting in the local one when I did, because I was like, you know what? I want to give these away, because I want to meet all these local moms. I have no friends. Well, not no friends. Like, I have a couple, but, like, I'd like to get to know the community more.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was really cool to see the feedback, and, like, some of the names that were popping up that I had seen, and, like, it was so funny. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. I probably have twice now. But when Carolyn and I first kind of met, I was walking up to her, and she was talking to one of our kids' teachers, and I was going to go up to her and ask her if she wanted to smoke, because I had my bong with me. Thank God I didn't. But we found out later, like, I've talked to her since then, and she was like, what you're doing is great. Like, I love the way you speak out. And I'm like, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And, like, it's interesting to see, I guess, people from that perspective, like, people that are more adult than I am. I'm 23 years old. Like, it's nice to hear, hey, what you're doing is good, like keep doing it, because I don't think anybody's had the balls to do it for a long time, and anybody who knows me personally knows I have the balls to say anything at any time.
Well, you definitely feel like an old soul to me. You know, you don't seem 23, so. Sometimes when you say something, I'm like, wait, how old are you again? Like, I forgot you're that much younger.
I definitely said that. I think when I was talking to Carolyn in one of the first episodes, that's one of the first things she said to me.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest compliment I think I can receive, is that I'm an old soul. I've always, you know, I went to Europe with my grandparents when I was 10, and everybody, like, I was the only kid on that tour, like, even close to kid on that tour. And I hung out with all the adults. Like, I went up to my grandparents constantly to sit with other people, and like I wanted to get to know everybody and hear everybody's story. And I think I've always been that way, and like always been the one to go and sit with the elderly people and like, I just want to tell me whatever. Just tell me a story. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
And I value, I don't know, I think the more traditional things.
Well, I think you're pretty open too with like some of the shit you've been through in your life, which is, you know, what makes you stronger in your future. So
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. That was like a really good tangent. Yeah,
for sure.
What else can we talk about? How long have we been going?
I don't know.
21 minutes. That's longer than I guess we were recording before, but like that's impressive to me. So I normally do a weekly check-in. So if you want to, how's your week been? It's been 2 weeks since we saw you. So how's your last 2 weeks been?
So actually, well, Tuesday I go back to work. So I've been off for 5 days. So that's been really fun. For 4 of them, we got rid of our children, so that was even funner. Well, it was not fun. It was like a staycation, and I'll be honest, I probably did more laundry than I should have, but, you know, I got shit done without them running around and screaming, and it stayed clean for 3 days, so
that never happened.
To me, that was a huge accomplishment, you know?
It's beautiful.
Definitely.
That's why I did that today, so tomorrow morning I can be like...
Yeah, and then tomorrow, we're doing one family trip tomorrow to Park Omega, kick off the end of our vacation, and then go back to work.
Oh. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed your 5. That sounds like a really good week.
It was, definitely.
And I like that you're so, like, gung-ho about, like, talking to the kids.
Oh, yeah,
because I like that, too. Like, my parents don't take them every week now, but, like, whenever I need them to, they do. And we just kind of, like, try to shuffle the schedule around that. Mm-hmm. But when they do, oh, my God. Like, I got so much today, and nobody's thrown a thing on the floor.
For sure.
Since. And yeah, it's definitely a different kind of sense of relaxation and accomplishment, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it.
By tomorrow night it's going to be back to normal, but especially with COVID and everything, it's just been crazy.
Yeah.
It's starting to like get back to normal a little bit more, but...
Do you find that you've run out of things to do at home? Like you've tried everything?
No, because I'll be honest, I leave my house at 6 a.m. and I get home at 6 p.m.
Oh yeah.
And then I cook dinner, and then I get the kids to bed, and then I'm up again at 5 a.m. So like, it's rough
very
sometimes.
Different from my life.
Yeah.
I've just had them home, and like they're 4 and 6.
But I'll be honest, like I give total props to, because like I don't think I could do what stay-at-home or single moms could do, you know. And I'm fine with that. Like I'm a working mom. I'm fine with that.
I don't know how you do that.
I don't know what you do.
I think that we're all meant to do like walk around paths and like
for sure.
But yeah, I totally feel the same. Like I don't think that I could be a full-time working mom. But at the same time, like I'm working on so many other things, like especially my mental health right now. That's as important to a job as a job to me. And like there's certain things that I am doing that aren't that, I guess. But like being a single mom doesn't wear on me until like it's been like, I don't know, 2 weeks, and all of a sudden I haven't had a break, or maybe for the last 2 nights the kids haven't gone to bed on time, so I've had no time that's just me. And then I break and I'm like, oh my God, being a single mom is so hard. Mom, grandma, grandpa, they want to have a sleepover really bad.
That's why it's important to have, you know, a support system in your life for sure.
And I have really good friends and a support system around me. Like I got a message today from family friend, I don't know what to call them. Really, really good friends. That they're buying the kids school supplies for them.
Oh, that's so
and,
sweet.
Like, there's so much that because my kids were fed, like I'll be honest on the podcast, I don't care. My kids were fed 4 days a week at school. Other than the one day they didn't have a hot lunch and they got milk every day and I didn't pay for that. And like that was a huge, when we were going into quarantine, I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna, like now I can't work. And that was the little bit of extra money that I had, and we were doing good because of that. And it was hard to go from, like that's 8 meals a week. And I'm sorry, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely.
And like it was a huge adjustment, and like I've just had the community swoop in underneath me, and like I have not hurt for anything this entire time. And like I mean, like I feel like I've had luxuries this entire time with the way that I've been supported, and like I don't know. We're in the right area. This is such an amazing place to live.
Definitely. Honestly, since COVID hit, I've never been more proud to be called Canadian. And I think it was actually about a month after COVID hit, and I read this article, and like I just stopped in my tracks and I cried, and I was like how did I not even think of this? But it was like, think of those kids who the only time they get to eat is at school. You know, when they go home, like how are they going to eat now? Or what about those kids who, unfortunately, but it happens in this world, are abused at home, and school is their escape? You know, or those abused wives whose husbands are normally going to work every day are now not. And I just like broke down. I was just like, fuck, like how privileged am I though? Like, you know, like we're complaining that there's not enough fucking toilet paper. You know what I mean? Like,
it's so frustrating. I remember, okay, when that all first started,
it frustrated me so much.
I threw a fit. I don't think I threw a fit online. I might have done it on Snapchat. If you guys want to follow me on Snapchat, I rant a lot on Snapchat, and it's unfiltered. And
you gotta teach me Snapchat.
Oh my god, I'll teach you Snapchat. I get in a lot of trouble on
Actually, I'm on Snapchat, just not like that much.
But it pisses me off because I went to go buy my normal groceries. I live paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I don't now. I'm usually it depends on the paycheck. Like some days I have like so much in savings, and other times it's like I dwindle that savings, and that's usually in the same month. Like it's, I get by, make things work, but like very carefully. And the kids don't want for anything. Like if you look around my house, everything's my kids. So nobody would tell me my kids. I think anybody, all of you are invited to walk your asses in here and check on my kids if you're concerned. Sorry, I know other people watch my podcasts that are causing issues. I don't know if I'll cut this out. Maybe I'll cut drama. But like everything's so fine, and like nobody realizes like everybody got CERB. I didn't get CERB. I get half of that as income support, and I didn't get anything extra. I mean, I got like the GST and child bonus top up, so I did get those two. I did get some extra, but I didn't monthly. I was making half of what the actual minimum in the country was at that point, and like struggling doing that. And if I had applied for CERB, I would have had my benefits taken away, and my benefits taken away is not like now I would have been fucked.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of people that don't realize that fine balance, and I'm not asking for like a pity party, because this is like if I had from 16 dealt with my finances better, like I'm not in a regular 23-year-old's position. That's why I'm living this way. But I do have my own apartment, and all my bills are paid on time. All the time. I do not pay bills late. I like always have food in the cupboards, and if I'm struggling, somebody always comes through and helps out. Like I'm very blessed, and I've never like not had food in the fridge for the kids. And if we're low on food, like the kids are gonna eat.
I've always said, like, if your lights are on, you have a roof over your head, your fridge is full, you're not broke.
No, and
you know
money
what I mean?
means nothing, and like people don't realize that 90% of what my kids get excited for is from the dollar store, or that they've made, or I've made, and or someone's gifted that they've put time into. And like I have very sentimental kids, and I'm a very sentimental person. Like on my birthday, the guy that I was dating, I told him that I didn't want him to spend any money, and I was adamant. Like I don't like monetary value things. I like handmade, thoughtful, put together things, and he gave me like a series of gifts that were all each like things that I still use, like my mixing bowls. Use them every day. Fantastic, but like super useful things, and like that he had either made or whatever, and that means more to me than anything. And like gifts like that, and I think that people need to realize that money isn't everything, and you can make such a beautiful life out of absolutely nothing.
For sure, definitely.
And yeah, I don't know. And I'm not saying that you don't realize that. I'm just like, oh my
No, for sure. Trust me.
But yeah,
It might look like I have my shit together, but not always.
That's
I worked
what I
like
say.
minimum wage jobs in a restaurant for 7 years, and I was just honestly given a great opportunity to work for a very great company who like very supports their employees, and I'm just so I was just like given a really good chance, and I do have a great job now, and I love my job. So
2 years ago today I was homeless, and I had just been kicked out of my ex-husband's house, and he kicked me out with 2 suitcases.
And your children?
Without my kids. He kept the kids and threatened the cops on me, and at that time I had some legal issues. Not that I would have been arrested for or held anything against, but like the fear was there, and it didn't matter. And he told me I couldn't come back, and like had locked the doors, and I'd be sleeping outside, and so I just went on the bus to my friend's place because that's where I knew I'd be. And I fucked a lot of that up because I was emotional and had just gone through this stuff. And at that point, like I think maybe 8 months prior, I was diagnosed with BPD. I had just gone off my medication. Like I should have gone into a hospital instead of being kicked out of my own house.
Yeah, for sure.
But it didn't happen. And oh yeah, the summer was brutal. Like I spent, I want to say like a month and a half hungry because I had nothing. And everybody says that I don't know, there's just so much about that time. And like I worked my ass off to be able to get out here, to get a bus ticket. I took a 49-hour bus out here to get to my kids because their dad wouldn't come and get them. Because and I told him to several times and he wouldn't. Sorry, but that's on the internet, Nathan. Yeah, it was just like, it was a fucking hard summer. And I just remember thinking every day, like, I'm never going to live like this again.
Mm-hmm.
In 5 years, look at where I'm going to be. And I didn't think I was going to be this far in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, just knowing that you're here now and with your kids, that just shows like how you strive to get here, for sure.
Went through working overnights with one kid in school, one kid not in school, and that was brutal. I did that for 8 months, and that nearly, like, that was too much. I do not recommend it. But it was a lot, and like I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at now. And the only reason I got this place was because I asked a friend who told me to email a person who just happened to get a notice that somebody was moving out, and like I was willing to wait regardless of what date, and it just all lined up perfectly. And I always told myself, like, if I'm gonna do it, this is gonna have to just line up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it worked out. And you gotta be able to look back and be grateful, I guess.
Yeah. But I also read the thing today, like, don't look back, because that's not your path. Like, that's not where you're going, so don't look back.
What's past is prologue. The past makes me who I am today. All right, well, we can wrap up this episode. This is actually a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm
yeah.
always down.
I didn't say my spiel at the beginning, but if you want to follow us on Facebook, Moms Who Smoke, Explicit Wixx. On Instagram, it's Moms Who Smoke Podcast and
Explicit Wixx.
And if you want to follow me, I'm not going to give out my Snapchat, that's a bad idea. Yeah, I think I have Twitter, but I haven't been posting on Twitter, so maybe don't follow there yet. I'll get it one day. But yeah, that's been this week's episode, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.